Welcome back to another episode of our Kings-related podcast, wherever you may be. And on today's episode, we're going to look at the direction that the Sacramento Kings should go in at building their team offensively, defensively. But first, before we get into today's episode, give this video a like, give it a subscribe, and leave a comment down below if you're watching on our Kings-related YouTube channel. For the 2025-6 Sacramento Kings and the identity that new GM Scott Perry is looking to mold this team around, they should really lean towards a defensive team building approach. The Sacramento Kings this past season, they were 23rd in the NBA in defensive rating for a 116.2. Their offensive rating, they were in the NBA at 116.7. For the Sacramento Kings, offense has never been the problem. And if you want to take this back to that first Beam Team year with Mike Brown, De'Aaron Fox, Sabonis, Keegan Murray, the Kings had one of the NBA's best offenses under Mike Brown when he took over and they snapped that playoff drought. And you had Fox, Sabonis, and they had a capable supporting cast around those guys, and Malik Monk, Kevin Huerter, and you had Keegan Murray in his rookie year. Defense, on the other hand, was optional. And defense has been a major problem for the Sacramento Kings for the longest time. And despite the Kings' offensive prowess, Sacramento has struggled to get stops in high leverage moments. We saw that in that first Beam Team year. We saw it, 2 seasons ago? And we saw it this past season. Opposing teams, whoever the Kings were playing, would shoot lights out, especially the Orlando Magic, who are not a great three-point shooting team unless they play the Sacramento Kings. And in 2 meetings against the Kings, Orlando Magic looked like the golden era of the Golden State Warriors. They could not miss from 3. And the Kings' defensive rating hovered around the NBA's league average or worse. Again, this past season, they were 23rd of 30th in defensive rating. And this has been a downfall for the Kings in playoff scenarios. Go back to 2023 against Golden State. If you go back to the Pelicans and the Timberwolves matchups, defense has been an issue. Why should Scott Perry, Doug Christie, should focus on a defensive team building approach? I've always been a believer in defense wins championships. And also, balance wins championships. The Kings need a more balanced identity. If you look around the league and some of the top teams, the Boston Celtics, the Denver Nuggets, the Milwaukee Bucks, when healthy, the Oklahoma City Thunder, you combine their defense with an elite scoring and dependable defense, much more balanced approach, identity with some of the top teams in the NBA. And Sacramento, yes, we know Sacramento doesn't have elite defenders. You can make the case Keegan Murray has really come on as a defender in his, 3 years in the league. Keon Ellis has really come on. There's a reason why he's been given the name Ellis Island. But the Kings, they need more plus defenders on the wing and the perimeter to surround those two guys, to surround Keegan and Keon Ellis. More plus defenders. We have been, as fans, we have been asking for more plus defenders on wings since that 7-game playoff series against Golden State. Everything on social media, fans have been begging for this team to get more wing players. Also, you need more physicality, more versatility on this Sacramento Kings team because they have struggled against long, switchable teams. Go back to when the Kings were 0-6 against the New Orleans Pelicans 2 seasons ago. What was that Pelicans team? They were long and switchable. And for Sacramento to target rangy, defensive-minded wings this offseason, and even a rim-protecting backup big behind Sabonis, could fix that if you're Scott Perry and this new Kings front office. It's not, I've said this, it's not a great point guard free agent class this offseason, but you can get some defensive wings either in the draft or in free agency, and you think of the Herb Jones type style players, and I have absolutely loved Herb Jones of the Pelicans, or someone like Matisse Thybulle up there in Portland, who would be really nice. OG Anunoby of the Knicks, or Jaden McDaniel types. Guys like that are who Sacramento should target this offseason and going forward as those defensive wing types. And you want to upgrade your rim protection. Sabonis, he's not a rim protector, a shot blocker. But if you can get a vertical big who can block shots and cover for Sabonis, you can do that in a trade. Call up the Utah Jazz and ask them about Walker Kessler. I think you slide Kessler in there at the 5, move Sabonis at the 4. That could be really nice. Look for the Sacramento Kings. And then, you just need more help, rim protection, and defensive-minded wings if you are the Sacramento Kings. And then you look at the Monk roles, and when Monk is off, when he's on, he's absolutely incredible. But when Malik Monk isn't contributing defensively, because he's not a great defender, he's not known for his defense, those minutes should go to more impactful two-way players. Like when you don't have Monk, Zach LaVine, guys like that who don't contribute on the defensive end of the floor, you could give those minutes, maybe late in games, to more impactful two-way players to get those stops down in the end of the games. Like, we all know that the Sacramento Kings, they have a solid offensive core as of now. Sabonis, Keegan Murray, even though his offensive power has kind of left since his rookie year, but I believe it's still in there. You got Zach LaVine, a full season with Zach. Keon Ellis, who's really come on as an offensive player. You got Malik Monk, a 6-man off the bench. And if you bring back Jake LaRavia, we saw what he could bring offensively when healthy. And we also saw what he could bring defensively with his size and his length. But defense is what's holding this Kings team back from being a true, I'm talking about a true contending team in a brutal Western Conference. And if Scott Perry and this front office, if they shift this team building approach to a more defensive first priority, and empathize defensive length, toughness, and rim protection, I believe that would push Sacramento closer to being in that top 6 where they want to be instead of being that perennial play-in team. And we heard it from Scott Perry in his introduction press conference. Defense, he talked about defense, size, length, and the need for a point guard. And I believe if the Kings' priorities this offseason is to be a defensive-minded first team at building this team, I believe the rise is going up. Because I believe that's where this Kings team needs to approach how they build this team for long-term, sustainable success. If you want to be a true playoff team, contending team in a Western Conference, that's every team is absolutely getting better. Oklahoma City's not going anywhere. The Dallas Mavericks, they're going to be better next year with the number 1 pick, guys getting back healthy. The Lakers, they're going to be better. The Clippers, 50-50. But you got teams like Portland, San Antonio. Those teams are on the rise. And Minnesota, they're not going anywhere. They're going to get better. So for Sacramento, you need a more balanced identity both on defense and offense. We know what they can do offensively, but defense is what they need to look at this offseason. What do you want this Kings front office and this franchise want to focus on going forward? Let me know in the YouTube comments down below, and on Spotify in the comment section there on Spotify. What approach should the Sacramento Kings lean towards? A defensive team building approach? Go out there and chuck up threes like we saw early on for the longest time. Let me know in the comments down below.